Hi, Brian Armantrout with the Food Safety Foundation. Thank you for requesting this file going over FDA Inspectional Citations. In particular, we're looking at 2018, 2019, and 2020. Now, FDA puts this data on their website, which is where I pulled this from, but there's really no analysis of the data. It's just a giant Excel file. So what I've done with this is put this in a format where you can actually utilize this data in your facility for justification of your hazard analysis, looking at it for trends of what FDA is looking at so that you can focus on particular areas, and using it to overall manage food safety within your process. It's a nice, really cool tool, and you can zone in on any particular area that you want to. So I want to do a really quick video here to kind of go over how to actually use this file. So there's two tabs here. The first tab that we're on is the Inspectional Citations from FDA. And so this is from the beginning of 2018 all the way to the beginning of December in 2020, which is the most current data that's available. Now, what I've done here, there are approximately 18,000 line items here. There's more data from FDA available, but this file just gets incredibly huge and unwieldy, and it's really not showing you the trends that are happening right now. So with this data, you are able to filter this data with this top row here and take a look at this and slice and dice this in areas that you are interested in. So as you can see, the firm name is in column B, where they're located, when the inspection took place, the program area. So with FDA, right, so food, medical device, all these type of things. I have taken all those out. It's just food. So then there's a short description from the category of what the investigator was looking at, and then a little more detail to kind of give you an idea of what they were actually talking about in that area. So how do I use this and how do I create data with this? So you can zoom in on this and look at this by year or even by month, right? So you can go through here and we'll get rid of the 2018 and 2019 data and we'll just look at the 2020 data. So let's filter that out. We already have the program area for foods. Now we can look at the particular elements within the CFR. So 1.5 is foreign supplier verification. You can see here lots of elements under 1.5 where FDA was looking at particular activities, right? So 108, around canning activities. 110 is the old GMPs, etc. Let's go down here and take a look at 117. That's where the Food Safety Modernization Act lives, right? And that with foreign supplier verification are two of the main things you're going to be looking at unless you're in juice or seafood HACCP or something like that. So let's take a look here at just like, let's say here, 117, 135. And what they're doing with this is you can see that you have the actual paragraphs, subparagraphs, everything else. So you can actually go in there and take a look at that and see the sub-elements. So one of the things I just forgot to do was to deselect everything. And now I'm just going to select particular elements. So let's take a look at this 135. Don't want the 130, 135. So these guys, like so. So now these are the elements under 21 CFR 117.135 with the different permutations of that, the different things that they're looking at. So allergen controls, process controls, preventive controls, sanitation controls, right? All of the different elements of control within your food safety plan. So you didn't identify a preventive control when one was needed. A lot of different companies over here we can see that were cited for this. So big companies too, right? So smaller companies, but Dole, right? Dole Fresh Vegetables in North Carolina was visited by FDA and they didn't like their preventive controls under this system. So then you can go through, and what I've done is tabulated at the bottom from this. I've already done a lot of the sorting for these categories for you. So you can go through this data and look at it that way. Now there's another tab over here, inspection analysis. So with this, what I did was then I created a Pareto under 117, the Food Safety Modernization Act. In 2020, what were the main things that FDA was looking at? So you can see here, right, as you would expect, 80-20 rule. And here is the actual data that is generating that chart. So you can see sanitary operations, contamination protection, how you're monitoring your controls, training, your hazard analysis, right? A lot of these things here in the top. Matter of fact, if you take like the top two here, right, you have a count of 131. And in this graph, we're looking at, so what are we looking at here? 770 total. and 262 right there, right? So almost a third of the citations in the first two categories are right there, right? What does that tell you? Doesn't matter what industry you're working in, you need to focus in on this. And then down here, these are more controls for your programs. So one of the things I did here as well, you'll notice here with these graphs, and you can create as many of these as you want. I just threw a couple examples in here. What's the trend between 18, 19, and 20? Now, granted, 20 is a little different because FDA really pulled back on going to facilities and investigating. So they were doing more remote things, et cetera, et cetera. But what's interesting, I highlighted a couple rows here. You can see for foreign supplier verification, even with FDA throttling back their activities, they still wrote out more, a lot more activity, 50% more than they did in 2019 under foreign supplier verification. So under FSMA, right, way lower, right? They were at 3,000, now they're down to 787. Some things, and this was kind of surprising with me, with water, right? Water's dropped to almost nothing as far as what they've been writing people up for. And again, you go back to the data and you can look up 21 CFR 129 and you can see what were the particular elements under bottled water the FDA was writing people up for. So that's it, right? It's not very complicated, but it's a really, really helpful tool. And it's probably not something out there that you're going to see around because nobody else is analyzing this way. So food safety, of course, is something that we all benefit from. And at the Food Safety Foundation, it's something that we promote. So hopefully you find this valuable and let me know what you think. Thanks a lot.